Hey folks, welcome back to Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. We're here at the tail end of the Shrine of Amana. We are not doing much in the Shrine of Amana today. We're just using it as a jumping off point to get to our next location, the Undead Crypt. So real quick, let's take care of... Are you coming over there? Are you gonna join us? There you are. Let's take care of these basilisks. And move on to the door. Now, guarding the door, as we saw, is a Cyan Knight. We've dealt with Cyan Knights before, but we do have a somewhat limited area to work with because there are deep drop-offs on each side of this platform that aren't immediately obvious because of the water. So we got to be careful with our rolling and to make sure that we don't fall off. Is it safe? I think it's safe. Okay. Alright, so the door to the Undead Crypt. It's a kind of interesting looking door in that it stands out from most doors in the game. It's bright, you know, it's yellow and kind of that, I don't know, platinum blue-ish kind of look. It's got flower embroidery and, I don't know if that's a dragon or what kind of design up top. It's not the dank, dirty metal kind of look. It's much more I don't know, my completely uneducated guess is that it's more Eastern inspired, like East Asian, but rather than dark fantasy. But I don't know, it's weird, and I'm not sure why in particular the Undead Crypt gets such a door. So the rest of it, you know, it's pretty typical crypt. So, anyway, we already went pretty far down from Drangleic Castle to get to the Shrine of Amana. We are now going even farther down to get to the Undead Crypt. Quite far down. Now, the Undead Crypt, when we get down here, it's gonna have some pretty dark areas. I will try to light them up as much as I can, but there's at least one portion that I will not be able to light up, and you will understand why when I get there. Anyway, conveniently, there is a bonfire right here at the start, so we don't have to go through that elevator a whole bunch. And we've got another visit from our fiery friend here. Is he a friend? I don't really know. Probably not.
Young hollow, conqueror of fear. What drives your soul to overcome the supposed curse?
Supposed curse. Interesting way to phrase that.
Life is brilliant, beautiful, intense, to the point of obsession. Some are true to the purpose they are officials, flesh and mind. One man lost his own body, but lingered on as a head. Others chase the charms of love. What is it that drives you? Once, the Lord of Light banished the dark and all that stand from humanity. And then assumed a fleeting form. These are the roots of our world. Men are props in state of life And no matter how tender, how explicit, the lie will remain a lie. Young Harlow, knowing this, do you still desire peace?
So there's a lot to unpack there. I prepared a quick preliminary, paragraph that I wrote for myself, so I might be able to pick it apart a bit, but there's still a lot for me to mull over there. But anyway, Lord of Light, banishing the dark, is a pretty explicit reference to Gwyn from the first game. You know, he tried to reignite the first flame to prolong the Age of Fire and prevent the Age of Dark, and that messed with humanity's life cycle and man, because he didn't want men to come to power. So that's pretty blatant. Then it gets a little more hard to pick apart. What interested me was that line about men are props on the stage of life. No matter how tender, how exquisite, a lie will remain a lie. So men who are feeble and weak and not very important in the grand scheme of things, or powerful in the grand scheme of things, are ultimately insignificant, are merely props that are manipulated by greater forces in a larger scheme. People like Gwyn and larger things like the Undead Curse and cycles and whatnot, stuff like that. But life enchants us to the point of obsession. The brilliance of life and those desires that we have blind us to the true insignificance of our existence. But no matter how beautiful that brilliance is, it is a lie. A lie will remain a lie. So with knowledge, with the knowledge of how insignificant we are and our ultimate powerlessness to those larger forces, do we still desire peace? Do we want to continue on our journey? And it doesn't matter what you answer here. He gives you the same answer, same response either way. Anyway, that's kind of my gloss of that little speech. But there's definitely a lot to pick apart there. I guess I might have glossed over the fact that, he says these are the roots of the world. So, this whole world, these problems are insignificant. It is baked into the very fabric of the world. It is at the root. It is at the core. It's an unchanging fact. Do we continue?
Venric, the near true monarch, is here, and not far off. But what does it kill? You, neither born with greatness nor grounded by the fates. What is it you seek? You cannot even say yourself. We shall meet again, young Harlow.
So another reminder about how Vendrick was not quite the true monarch. Another reminder of our powerlessness. We have neither born with greatness nor have it thrust upon us. And also, earlier in the speech, he talked about how people, get consumed with purpose, thing that's been going on for the entire game. But then we don't even really know our purpose, maybe? What are we fighting for? Are we losing our purpose, or is our purpose changing? Something to mull over. Anyway, that's enough waxing philosophical for at least a little while. Let's poke around and see what we can find. It says that. I don't know why. This wall has holes in it, and I don't know why. It's on the other side. There's, it's not an enemy you can snipe or anything. There's just a skeleton with a radiant life gem. Anyway, let's get started on the Undead Crypt. It'll take us a couple episodes probably, but that's okay. And, try right. What are we gonna find? Drop off. Whoops. So right past here is kind of where the darkness of the crypt starts in earnest. Ha, that's funny. Okay. It's dark in here. See how dark? See how dark? But there is a torch hollow back there, giving us a little bit of light. Let's take care of these guys one at a time. They are going to kind of keep their backs to the doorways, which will make backstabbing them a little trickier. But we've had enough practice, they won't be too bad. There we go. So I think for a lot of this area, I'm going to be kind of swapping between my my blunt weapons and my sharp weapons, because sharp weapons are good against these fleshy creatures. This guy is a friendly hollow, by the way. He's a friend, like in No Man's Wharf. But there are also quite a few armored foes, like those Cyan Knights and these huge dudes that dual wield tower shields, or at least some sort of great shield. I don't know. Now these guys are cool as hell, I want to say. They are also kind of annoying to fight, because those large shields, you know, they can block your strikes when they're guarding, or if you're just positioned in a bad way. So it can be a little bit tough to actually get a good hit in on them. Anyway, I don't think there's actually anything in this room other than the hollow. Let's see if we can keep this guy alive for a little bit. Alright, now we got a couple hexers in here. Gonna be shooting dark beads at us. Or at least some sort of dark spell. I don't know if they're beads. And it's just two of them, and we have these pillars to work with, so shouldn't be too hard to poke our heads out and snipe them. Does this guy even know I'm here? I don't know if he does. Actually, they might be women. They might be witches, I'm not sure. Yeah, those sound like women. Alright, taken care of. And we got a bunch of fleshy hollows in here, so let's have our katanas out. And these guys will get aggressive. They take a little bit to stand up, but they will. Hey. And don't think I didn't notice this summon sign. This is Devotee Scarlet. I believe we ran into her in Earthen Peak, I want to say. As always, we'll save her summon for later. Huh. I didn't know that guy was there. Interesting. Let's rate this thing. That's a good message. Don't know what's up with that. That's weird. Anyway, a lot of these Triclops snake trochees, let's just remind ourselves. I think they have to do with dark magic. God, what do they even look like? These things? No, these are silver. Here we go. Boost Petrify Resist. Interesting. I can't think of enemies in here that have Petrify Resist. Or have petrification moves. Weird. Okay, so now. This is the part where we have to say goodbye to our torch friend. Because he's actually a trap. If we come into this next room with light, we will aggro a certain NPC and his friends. So, let's I'm sorry, friend. This is for my own good and not yours. Oh, actually, he could have lived in another room or two. Here we go.
Halt. Human, do not produce light. Light, and all those who bear it, are unwelcome in this place.
So yeah, if you come in here with a torch or a torch friend, that guy will not be happy, and he will aggro, I believe. I think. I don't think I've ever actually aggroed him, because back in the day, I didn't realize that Torch Hollow was friendly, and I just killed him immediately. So I never actually came in here with a torch. And then once I learned, I knew better than to do it. Anyway, he's hanging out with a couple of these Grave Wardens who we saw in Earthen Peak for some unknown reason. But it makes sense that Grave Wardens would be in the Undead Crypt. It's a place where you keep dead things. And here is that velvety voice.
I am Ugdane, guardian of the crypt. Countless dead rest here in peace, cradled by the comfort of dark. Light only agitates. We have no need for it here.
So, Agdane here is the Cryptkeeper, and he seems like a pretty chill dude. He's just here to make sure that the dead don't get upset. You know, so as long as we don't mess with the dead unduly anyway, he'll leave us alone.
I am a Finito. We weave death and watch over the dead. This task was granted to me by the one who gave us the first death. Countless souls rest here. Some of them from ages long ago. Some were rich, others poor. Some wise, some dull, but now they're all just dead.
So he is a Finito, which, much like the Melfinito, are beings created by the almost definitely Nito from the first game, the first of the dead. And again, they're chill dudes. They're people whose task is to bring comfort. They're not here to cause problems. Death is actually pretty chill. At least when Nito is involved. And then at the end, they're a little reiteration of something that's popped up occasionally. Again, I think in Earthen Peak there was an item description that said it or something. Everybody's the same when they're dead. Doesn't matter how rich or poor, how powerful or weak. Just dead.
Did you come for him? The one called Vendrick. You will find him deeper inside. Many castle servants and the like have come to fetch their lord. But they rest here now, put to death by the king's own guards. Perhaps he's not in the mood for company.
He's a little funny. He's a joker. He's a joker kind of guy. But yeah, the people have tried to come get Vendrick before, and he's not really interested in leaving.
In the past, humans were one with the dark. The former king of light, he feared humans. Feared that they would usher in an age of dark. How queer you humans. How you go on, never separating truth from fiction.
I don't have anything to say on that. That's just interesting to chew on. Actually, I guess I can say something about it. He's definitely stands apart from humans in a certain regard. He views them from afar, a silent protector, a dark Cryptkeeper. But again, he's very chill.
This place is welcome to all, provided due reverence is shown. Death is equitable, accepting. We will all one day be welcomed by her embrace. Tell me what you desire. Show me reverence, and I will lend you my hand.
All right, so we get a gesture. Have mercy. And he sells a couple different things. He got the Ring of Thorns +1. I don't remember where we could get the first one, but it's the Kirk one where you roll into somebody and it hurts. Very situational. Then a bunch of dark stuff, a ton of human effigies. That's like a quarter of my current stock, and they are expensive. And then a variety of spells that all have some sort of connection to the Undead Crypt. At least the other three do. One of the lost sorceries, preserved only in the Undead Crypt. Preserved only in Undead Crypt. Inflicts heavy damage on mindless hollows, but has no effect on anything else. The Undead Crypt is a place of rest for the living. Those afflicted by the curse can only pray to one day gain entrance. So I think the translation there might be a little bit confusing, or the wording at least. Because this is a place for the dead. Agdane just said it was a place for the dead. So I think the implication there is that the undead, those afflicted by the curse, are not considered living or dead, and people who are living will one day be dead. So there's a little bit of like association. Living and dead are tied together in a two-part combo in a way that undead is not. But it's a weird way of phrasing. You know, it's a place of rest for the living once they are done living. One of the lost pyromancies, preserved only in the Undead Crypt, creates a gentle, warm flame that heals those who touch it. Also interesting that he has sorceries, miracles, and pyromancies. All three. Again, death is equitable. Doesn't really much matter what sort of magic you got into. And talking to him will just repeat the dialogue that led us here, so.
Crude human. Do as you please.
It was a little bit rude. Anyway, let's see what that gesture looks like. I feel like I don't show these off enough. Very popular. Anyway, that wraps up our introduction to the Undead Crypt. And in the next episode, we will plumb into the crypt's more dangerous parts. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.